Hello everyone, this is Alia. Welcome to my channel. And if you are new, this channel is about debunking many stereotypes about Islam. And in this video, specifically, we are going to speak about Prophet Muhammad. We're going to tap into his life in order to get to know a little bit more about him through some stories shared from his life, to see how he was dealing with the people around him, with his family, as a husband, as a grandfather, with friends, and with people in general. So if you are interested to know why Prophet Muhammad has this popular and admiration and love and respect from many people around the world, not only in the Muslim community but also in the non-Muslim communities, then please keep on watching. Okay, so let's talk about Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was known to be a very cheerful person. So he used to smile a lot to people. You know these people that we call smiley faces? He was a smiley face. And at the same time, he was very friendly and very helpful in his home. So he used to milk the sheep, he used to cut the meat, he used to do the fixing of the clothes or of the shoes, and he used to do cleaning and many different types of housework as any other one would do. Also, he was very kind with his wife and very loving. So once the necklace of his wife was broken and she was sad about it, so he kept all the night collecting the beads for her. And another thing also that shows how loving he was to his wife is that he used to do many races and play with her. And many times he would let her win just to see her happy. And as a grandfather, I have two stories to share here. One story is about Al-Hassan wal-Hussein, who were the grandsons of the Prophet. And one time they climbed over his back while he was praying, and they were just playing over his back. So he didn't get up until they finished playing and moved, and then he got up and continued the prayers. Another story is about his granddaughter. So once he was carrying his granddaughter on his shoulders, and he could see how happy she was, but then the prayer time came and he had to do the prayers and all the people would pray behind him. So he didn't want to interrupt her happiness, so he decided to pray with her on his shoulder. And then when he would go down with the prayers, he would put her on the floor beside of him, and then when he would get up, he would carry her again. Well, and with the people in general, he used to be very generous, very cheerful, and something also very important is he was a very humble man. How could we see that? It's because of his habits and actions. So he used to eat and sit on the floor with the people, and even in his meetings there would be nothing to distinguish him from the others. So he wouldn't have a stage or something to speak from, and he wouldn't dress anything differently or nothing to distinguish him from others, so that people who did not know him and they come from other cities, they would enter and ask, who of you is Muhammad? They couldn't know because nothing was different from other people. Another sign is that he would accept the invitations of everyone, from the poor, from the rich, anyone. And if he didn't like the food, he would never say anything about it so that he wouldn't hurt the feelings of others. Another aspect also about his humbleness is that he used to call the people who are close to him with their nicknames. So even his servants, he used to call them with the nicknames instead of just calling them with their names. Then another aspect of his characters or his character or his traits is the care and the attention that he always showed to the people. So it was very known about the Prophet that if someone speaks, he would turn his whole body to this person and listen attentively to what he says. So he wouldn't just give him a glance of the eye or just turn the neck. No, he would turn with his whole body. And this is like appreciation and respect for the other person who is speaking. And also in his meetings, he would make eye contact with each and every one of the group, and he would make each and every one of them feel that they are very important and very appreciated, so that they would go out of the meeting thinking and saying that, oh, I am the most important one from all the others, even the very old friends of the Prophet. So this shows how caring he was. Also, he would never finish a conversation before the other person finishes it. So he would let you speak and speak until you finish the conversation, then he leaves. And when he shake hands, the same thing. He would never let the hand go until the other person let the hand go first. So all these aspects show how humble he was, how caring he was with the people. And another very important aspect from the Prophet's traits is the empathy. And I'm going to share with you two stories to clarify what I mean by empathy. But first, I would like to clarify the difference between sympathy and empathy. We all know sympathy. To sympathize with someone is to understand their pain, right? To acknowledge their pain. But to empathize means to feel the pain of the others. So two stories about that. One of them is about Al-Hussein, who was the younger brother of the grandchildren of the two brothers of the grandchildren of the Prophet. And Al-Hussein had a very strong stutter, so that he couldn't finish a sentence, and it could take him a long time to finish a sentence. And what made things worse is that his older brother, Al-Hassan, was very eloquent, and he was a great public speaker. So one time there was a gathering with the Prophet, and the two brothers were there. And Al-Hussein was a child of 4 or 5 years, and he wanted to tell a story to his grandfather, the Prophet. And so the Prophet, as he usually did, he turned all his body to him, and he listened attentively to what he wanted to say. And then after some time, the people started to feel, okay, it's getting awkward now, because the child couldn't finish his sentence. And it took him really long time to say what he wanted to say. So they started looking at each other in an uncomfortable manner. And then they say when they looked at the expressions of the Prophet at the time, they found that his face was filled with a big smile, and he was listening attentively to the child until he finishes what he wanted to finish. And then afterwards, he turned to the people and he said he inherited this from his uncle Moses, referring to the Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. So this is empathy, you know, to feel. He felt the feelings of Al-Hussein at that moment when he needed the love and acceptance from others. And he said, okay, you don't have to feel sorry for him. Instead, you have to envy him for the trait that he inherited from one of the greatest people in history. Another story is a story about the son of Bashir. Bashir was one of the companions of the Prophet. He was Ansari, and he went on a campaign one time. And on their arrival, normally the families would go to welcome the people who went on the campaign. So the son of Bashir went to welcome his father at that time. And then he climbed over the rock in order to see his father. He kept asking the people, have you seen my dad? Have you seen my dad? And no one answered him. So normally when there is a campaign arriving, the prophet would go at the back of the campaign to make sure that everyone is okay, that no one needs help or anything like that. So when the child saw the prophet coming, he realized that this is the end of the campaign and that his father is not coming back and that he died. So the child started crying and crying. The prophet, when he saw him, he stopped, he picked him up and he hugged him until he to calm him down, no? And then he asked him, wouldn't you like me to be your father and Aisha would be your mother? So think about that for a moment. This is empathy, you know, to embrace somebody else's child and make him one of your own family. This is empathy. And I would like to end with you with a story about the Prophet Muhammad with his enemies. How would he deal with his enemies? And I have one example to share with you today. Of course, there are many more, but I'm going to share this one. So there were people who used to insult the Prophet and say bad words about him, and that went on for some time. So the companions of the Prophet, one day they got really angry and they wanted to start a fight with those people. So how did the Prophet react here? Well, he said, oh, no, don't start a fight with them. Let them say whatever they want to say. They are talking about other person. I am Muhammad. I'm not this other person that they are talking about. And this story really shows two things about the Prophet. Number one, that he was very peaceful and he did not like violence. So he didn't want a quarrel, or he didn't want to start a fight for something that would not hurt him or hurt his message. This is number one. Number two, it shows how he can control his anger and how wise man he is, and how confident also he is in knowing who he really is. And also he has a very popular saying that says, the strong person is not the one who defeats his enemy, it's the one who can control his anger. With this saying, I will end this video today. I hope you like it, and let me know in the comments below if you like the video, if you already knew these stories, or if you know more stories that you would like to share with us. You are more than welcome. All your comments are more than welcome. And if you like the video, then please give it a thumbs up and share it with other people who might also get some benefit and get to know a little bit more who was the Prophet Muhammad, and have a little bit of a hint of how he was dealing with the people around him. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye bye.